Nations have clashed over the values of their currencies since at least the 1930s. In recent years, a major source of conflict has been currency manipulation, a way countries can gain an unfair advantage over their trading partners. It happens when a country keeps the value of its currency artificially low to make its exports cheaper and imports more expensive, in hopes of building up a trade surplus. To do this, the country sells its own currency and buys other currencies, mainly dollars, on the open market. Between 2003 and 2013, 20 countries engaged in excessive and often repeated purchases of foreign currency. New research shows that currency manipulation by China and other countries was the leading cause of record trade imbalances during this time. Looking at 2007, for example, if China had not manipulated its currency, it would not have had a large trade surplus. And if China and other countries had not intervened so much, the U.S. trade deficit would have been 35% smaller. The practice widened the U.S. trade deficit by an average of $200 billion starting in 2003. As the Federal Reserve sought to keep the U.S. economy at full employment, despite losing export jobs, it kept interest rates low, which made the housing bubble larger and the resulting recession more severe. Currency manipulation cost the U.S. more than 1 million jobs after the housing crash because it slowed down the economic recovery. These job losses and other economic fallout have fed into ongoing backlash against trade agreements and globalization, seen noticeably in the 2016 election. Although currency manipulation fell to a low level in the past 2 years, and China actually sold off significant amounts of dollars, the practice could recur if market forces change. The United States should adopt a new policy of countervailing currency intervention against major economies to prevent the return of the practice. This means the U.S. would commit to buying an equal amount of the offending country's currency, neutralizing the effect of its manipulation on the exchange rate. If the United States had done this in 2005, China's currency would have appreciated much faster, and its trade surplus would have declined much sooner. By buying undervalued Chinese currency, the U.S. Treasury would have made a large profit for U.S. taxpayers, even though that would not have been the main purpose of the policy. In addition to countervailing currency intervention, the U.S. government should insist on including bans on currency manipulation in any new trade agreement and push for tougher rules against the practice in international organizations. Together, these actions would help ensure that currency manipulation becomes a thing of the past in international trade relations, and help restore domestic support for trade agreements and an interconnected world. This is Joe Gagnon with the Peterson Institute for International Economics.